this is that guy that you just saw is like, he's a radical, he's a socialist. That is my fucking favorite type of guy, okay? There are so many guys like that, man. Oh, God. It's just so fucking funny that you got so many insane hogs out in the fucking wild, and we really unleashed them. Let's continue with the Zomentum. Voters at the polls nationwide across the country. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen.
This morning, New York City may be on the cusp of choosing a 34-year-old self-described democratic socialist with little political experience as its 111th mayor.
Zohran Mamdani is facing off against independent and former governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa.
While his opponents see nothing but fault, Zohran Mamdani's focus on affordability and a savvy social media-driven campaign striking a chord with voters looking for a change.
We stand on the verge of ushering in a new day for our city.
Mamdani tried to show a common touch, more like New Yorkers than their politicians. Visiting a club.
Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
Watching the Knicks from the nosebleeds, a contrast to his chief rival, Andrew Cuomo, who sat with the current mayor courtside. Cuomo, lagging in the polls, is accusing Mamdani of trying to turn the home of capitalism socialist.
My opponent is a socialist and wants to make New York City a socialist city, and socialism has not worked anywhere on the globe.
At the 11th hour, an endorsement for Cuomo from President Trump, who posted, "You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job," and threatening to withhold federal funds from the city if Mamdani wins.
Overnight, Cuomo trying to distance himself from Trump's endorsement.
He's not endorsing me. He's opposing Mamdani.
Mamdani calling Cuomo the president's puppet.
They share the same small vision. They share the same sense of impunity.
Trump called in to campaign events for Republican candidates in Virginia and New Jersey, where a bitter race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill is barreling toward the finish line.
You need to go out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who's a great guy, a friend of mine.
The Trump-backed Ciattarelli hitting the trail with his son, who returned from serving overseas.
I could not be more excited. The energy up and down the state has been off the charts.
While Sherrill's trying to turn out key Democratic voters.
I believe that with all of you, New Jersey will continue to be a beacon of light and hope for people across the country, across the world, but certainly for people across New Jersey.
A year from the midterm elections, the elections today are an early test of what the country thinks of President Trump and his agenda. They're also a test, guys, for the Democratic Party and whether its future looks more like a moderate Mikey Sherrill or more like Zohran Mamdani. Guys?
Okay, Aaron, thanks. This is our Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein, also our Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce.
I need you guys to understand something. Like, obviously, whoa, so I'm getting blasted in the face. Although Zohran has not won yet, and hopefully, inshallah, he will, understand that there are those who are watching closely exactly what the margins will look like. And I can predict with absolute certainty exactly what the messaging is going to look like in the aftermath of this. They've already started. The centrist establishment Democrats have already started talking about here. Yeah, I'll let in the light of the divine, the heaven's mandate into this room. Centrist Democrats have already started talking about how, like, oh, Spanberger has a higher margin of victory than Zohran Mamdani, all this stuff. And they are going to make idiotic comparisons as though we haven't been paying close attention. And many people have not been paying close attention to what's going on in this race. So they have no idea the metric ton of shit that the Mamdani campaign had to deal with, and the very fact that there was a spoiler with a dynastic name still, right, that was running as a real Democrat, even though he was running as an independent. Central Committee says, my official prediction was 56% yesterday with a range of 52 to 60. Reports on the ground reflected the polls missed again, and I think we may be entering landslide territory, but we need to see the early votes before we relax too much. I've read the Michael Lang analysis. I understand where people are coming from. I gave you my prediction. I said somewhere in the 55 range, and that the surprising vote would be from the 55 plus category that a lot of people think is supposed to go in Cuomo's direction. But then again, we shall see. I am not going to say anything. I am just saying I'm hoping and I'm praying. There's never been... I'm not exactly a very spiritual person, but I will say that I have been praying to whatever deity is out there. Okay? That's it. I have not... This shit got me praying to gods, hoping that anyone will listen. Okay? Oh my God. Have you been this emotionally invested in a campaign in years? I haven't. Last time I felt this... I don't want to bring it up. I don't even want to talk about it. But I mean, both Bernie campaigns, especially the moment of hope and optimism that I felt, that I know many of your favorite content creators and podcasters and activists and advocates alike felt in the aftermath of Bernie Sanders's upset victory. That wasn't really an upset if you actually saw the reality on the ground in 2020 in Vegas. But once again, what came after that was something that we all know very well, which is precisely the reason why I will stay the course. I will stay the course, and I will be restrained until the very last moment. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, as far as analysis goes, you will see some of the absolute worst, some of the most annoying centrist analysis coming out in the aftermath here. They will deny the unlimited dumped into this campaign and the electioneering that took place. Okay? I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. I have thought the answer to what comes next will be found in these results, but that's an absurd standard since Zohran Mamdani is running in a three-way race that includes another Dem. They've already started. They've already started with this sinister bullshit. Okay? And we haven't even seen the results yet. And they've already started with this nonsensical bullshit. Michael Lange, with each passing second, I'm more bullish on Zohran Mamdani exceeding 55%. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Manhattan. Allah Nazar Dansak, listen. Manhattan and Brooklyn continue to turn out in droves with lines reported across base neighborhoods. We're pacing a record number of votes. The vibes are screaming landslide. Okay? This person did a literal district by district analysis, and he sees the same day voting that took place as an indication that like it's actually better than his predicted results. He did a block by block voter analysis, and his initial predictions showed 52% for Zohran. And it seems it might even outperform that. Anyway, can we not say this is not a referendum on Dem leadership? Would the Dems be fighting to barely stop the Republicans in Congress if Zohran race was not happening? I think that there is definitely a push in the right direction. What? Red alert. White House prepares to issue executive orders on upcoming elections. I think we should care about the person with the highest percentage. Michelle Wu, momentum. Let's go. I don't know what that means. And let me tell you, I'm not excited to find out. Oh, I don't know where the source of that statement is. Anyway, let's look at the analysis, key races to watch.
And Rick, let me begin with you. We're watching a key governor's race in Virginia.
Yes, we will know the results of New York tonight. We will know the results of New York tonight, immediately after the polls close, which is going to be at, I think we will know by 9 p.m., like a little after 9 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. In the next 4 hours or so, less than. Hannity et al. Has been talking all day about Zohran being listed twice on the ballot, Cuomo being low, early voting, etc. They're calling for mass reform. Oh, Trump threatens legal action against mail voting in California redistricting election. Nice. Of course. Of course he's doing that. All right, let's continue.
Voting in California, also a key race in New Jersey.
Yeah, good morning, George. The only other state other than New Jersey that is electing a governor this year is Virginia. Polls show the Democrat Abigail Spanberger leading the Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears consistently.
Sorry, 4 hours and 30 minutes. 4 hours and 30 minutes.
A Democratic win there would not be a surprise. Virginia's been trending blue, and in governor's races, the state almost always votes against the party in the White House. Guys?
All right, but let's talk about California and what we're seeing there on the ballot. Is the issue of congressional districts. What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's right, Robin. Voters in California are being asked to approve a new map for congressional districts. This is the latest in what's become an unusual redistricting war.
Are you going to cover the Zohran watch party, or are you covering it all here in your room? I will. I will be going to the Zohran election party. I will be going there, and I will be live streaming it. Okay? Why don't we talk about Virginia and New Jersey? I will. I've talked about Virginia, not so much about New Jersey, but I will be talking about them right now.
Right here in the middle of the decade, Governor Gavin Newsom pushed a plan to squeeze as many as 5 additional Democratic seats out of the state, and this could be the result, a House map that is bluer than ever. Now, Newsom has cast this as an answer to what Trump and Republicans have been doing for months now. These are the states that are either trying to pass or have already passed new congressional maps this year. The dark red ones are the ones where Republicans have already put new maps into effect. And even if California's law passes today, Republicans are likely to end up with a few more seats out of these new districts when all is said and done, going into a year where the balance of power in Congress could hardly be tighter.
No question about it, Mary. That California race, of course, matters to President Trump. The Democrats in Virginia and New Jersey have also made him the central issue.
George, the president is well aware that 1 year after he returned back to the White House, this is the first major test of how voters feel about what the president has done in office over the last 9 months. He knows that these results will be seen as either a repudiation or a stamp of approval of his administration, and that the economy and affordability are the central issues for so many. The president and his policies have loomed large over all of these races. Trump is featured heavily in ads and on these debate stages. We've seen Democrats slamming his record, Republicans embracing the president, but also trying not to dismiss those very real concerns about the economy and rising costs. And the president notably has not been out campaigning in person. Instead, he's relied heavily on social media and these tele-rallies that Aaron mentioned to get out his message. And of course, the stakes are tremendously high for Democrats as well in their strategy to take on Trump, to oppose this administration and the divisions within their own party as we barrel toward the midterms, George.
Mary Bruce, thanks.
And let's turn to our man at the big board here, NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki. Political nerds love this off-year election. It's our first glimpse potentially at how the electorate is feeling. So where in those seats that we just talked about, where do things stand?
Yeah, let's take a look. Start in Virginia. The polls will close there first tonight. And you've got Abigail Spanberger against the lieutenant governor here. It would be an upset tonight if this race is won by Earl Sears. She has trailed significantly in the polling. You do see this is a blue state. Kamala Harris won this last year over Donald Trump by just under 6 points. One thing we're keeping an eye on, by the way, just outside, excuse me there, Savannah, just outside Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, federal employees in the shutdown. What effect is that having on this race? In New Jersey, this is the one tonight Republicans think they have a shot at. Jack Ciattarelli ran 4 years ago.
Not gonna lie, Holy Toledo guy kind of stole Kornacki's flow. I low-key agree with you. I do. I think Kornacki has also been like kind of odd with the way that he has, he's been kind of, Harry Emden has kind of taken over, more dynamic. And I think that Kornacki is a little bit washed, I'm not going to lie, because he's been so restrained. Like, Holy Toledo reads the room a little bit better. I know that, I'm sure that he wasn't super on board with the Zomentum initially, but he's been much more, he's much less reluctant to shit on him. Whereas Steve Kornacki used to be my GOAT, but everything that I've seen from him has been almost like an endless sequence of just being like, well, here's how Zohran could lose still.
Governor nearly beat Phil Murphy. He's currently the incumbent. The polling has put Mikey Sherrill ahead, but much closer than Virginia. This race tonight is going to hinge on a very particular type of voter. They are voters who don't like Donald Trump, but 4 years ago, they were willing to vote for Ciattarelli. With Trump back in the White House, can he still win those voters over? He needs to have a chance tonight. And of course, this New York City.
Dude, it's so funny. Why won't you talk about New Jersey or V8? Brother, we're literally looking at New Jersey. Like, while you are typing that question, it straight up is talking about the New Jersey governor race. Like, just look here, open your ears, open your eyes, please, chatters.
He needs to have a chance tonight. And of course, this New York City, biggest city in the country, high-profile race, certainly. Zohran Mamdani, who defeated Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary by 12 points. Cuomo running as an independent. Curtis Sliwa, the Republican. The polling has put Mamdani ahead, thanks in no small part to the fact that the opposition to him is split between these two candidates.
And perhaps why Donald Trump was weighing in last night, signaling to Republicans to vote for Cuomo in that race. Let's talk about some of the issues that people are focused on. We've got a recent NBC News poll.
Yeah, we came out with one on Sunday to sort of set the playing field for this week. And here you go. This is Donald Trump. We asked voters, is he living up or is he falling short of expectations?
Ooh, goddamn. That's a whole lot of red, baby. That is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Where does this movement go? A movement that has no popular base. A movement that has no popular mandate, never had a popular mandate, that has gotten increasingly less popular. Will it reach, depending on how middle class is, especially considering that he ran on affordability, won on affordability, did not actually deliver on affordability. Will the American independents and the American working class that I'm tweaking the dials, don't worry. Will the American independents and the American working class that saw that recognizes their material conditions not changing but worsening, as a matter of fact, will they actually respond negatively? We shall see. I am from Germany. This election means so much to me. The leftist world is watching. Yes. Yes. Guys, one of the most the people don't understand this, okay? There is, or we must build international solidarity, okay? We must build international solidarity. This is something that I recognize. This is something that I understand. This is something that I advocate for. It is crucial, okay? It is crucial to build a working class movement. And that is the reason why I travel the world and I go and I talk to people that do represent similar values in their respective nations, okay? Whether it be France on Bowed, or whether it be the Green Party, or even your party as well, Corbyn, like, whether it be working with groups like Progressive International, like, there are people all around the world, including in Western liberal capitalist democracies, that recognize that liberalism is failing. And they look to the United States of America, the heart of empire, and the heart of capitalism, which is where the financial capital of the world is. And they look at this race and they want to be excited. They want to hold on to hope that change might be coming. Some kind of change might be coming. Now, it might not be the most consequential change, and God knows it's going to be quite difficult to implement even the most modest of reforms. But yes, this is an inspirational candidacy. This is an inspirational campaign for so many people. There are probably more chatters from all around the world watching today than ever before. And a lot of Americans, I think, refuse to recognize that. And it's like almost, it feels like it's almost selfish, where you're just like looking at this moment of hope and you just go, it's not good enough for me. It's like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind, really. In any case, let's continue with the fucking horrifying numbers of Donald Trump.
Wanted to highlight this because these marks, I think, 34, 33, 30% say he's living up when it comes to the economy, looking out for the middle class, inflation, cost of living. These are issues people say are top of mind for them. These are issues where he fared pretty well in his first term, and we really see his numbers dropping in this second term. And what that also has led to for Trump is an approval rating overall of just 43%. That typically has spelled problems for candidates in a president's party when a president reaches that level.
All right, Steve Kornacki, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC, or take Today.
New Yorkers are spending a lot of their time talking about one man. Who are you voting for?
Definitely for Mamdani.
Yeah, Mamdani.
And you're excited about him?
Yes, absolutely.
Everybody excited.
Well, not everyone.
He's a radical. He's a radical leftist. He's a radical leftist.
It's just fear-mongering.
So who is he?
Socialism. This is my brother. This is my favorite. This is that guy that you just saw. Is like, he's a radical. He's a socialist. That is my fucking favorite type of guy, okay? There are so many guys like that, man. Oh, God. It's just so fucking funny that you got so many insane hogs out in the fucking wild, and we really unleashed them. We are leaning into our hog-like tendencies, man.
A self-declared democratic socialist who has to become New York mayor using viral...
I'm not saying you're single-handedly responsible for Zohran being elected, but how do you feel about the possibility your interview with him early on was a small, highly consequential domino that led to this point? We all play a role in this. You all play a role in this. It's not the interview that I did with Zohran that's consequential. It's the fact that there are members of this community that were primed, that were excited at the prospect of joining a campaign that was so hopeful, joining a campaign that was built around and centered around affordability, okay? It is the New York DSA, it's the Working Families Party. There are so many people that played a significant role in this happening, okay? I did nothing. I am nothing without you, okay? I am nothing without my community. This is, and Zohran is nothing without all of the people that played a formative role in his campaign as well. That's how this works. That is how this works. Okay? All you did was hang out and eat donuts. Exactly. Wouldn't do shit. Bro poured cold water into his coffee. Okay, let's not blow his head up too much. I wouldn't have been a leftist if it weren't for Hasan, and I was a Zohran canvasser back in the primary. Exactly. But once again, you did it. Okay? You did it. Because if it wasn't for all of you that actually go out and take the things that we're talking about, the things that we're communicating, and put it into motion, then we go nowhere. Then I'm just a fucking random dickhead who is yelling into the void. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's why I can't fucking believe the amount of attention that I've gotten from all of the haters and losers, the billionaires and the millionaires that have put the crosshairs on your boy. Because I'm inconsequential. You know, I am utterly inconsequential. I'm nothing. There will be someone else who will fill this void one day. It is the momentum. It is the people. That's what makes the difference. It's the people who dream of a better future and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. Because the reality of the matter is, nobody thought, even Zohran himself did not think that he would get to this point, I don't think. I mean, obviously that was the goal, but it would not have happened. It would not have happened without all of the people that have put so much work into turning him into a vessel for change, a vessel for positive change. The bullet that shoots down capitalism would not fire if every grain of gunpowder did not do its part. Yes. You claim to be inconsequential, yet you single-handedly caused Kamala's defeat. Yeah, I'll entertain that more, depending on the results of tonight, okay? I don't like other people telling me what's anti-Semitic. Zach Cady, 37, who brought his 2 children to vote when he cast his vote for Zohran Mamdani outside the Met on Saturday. As a Jewish family, I find Cuomo's position offensive and patronizing, he said. Criticism of Israel is not anti-Semitic. Whoo! Smoke him. The why does Mamdani obsess over Israel talking point would always be sleazy and bad faith, but it's especially so when his primary competition decided himself unilaterally and apropos of nothing to volunteer for Netanyahu's war crime defense. Like either it's a thing or it's not. Yeah. I can't believe that they tried to do that, by the way. You say you're nothing, but thanks to you, I'm even more annoying than I was before. I didn't think that was possible. I mean, I'm just a regular ass dude, okay? I'm an immensely fortunate, immensely privileged person who recognizes their privilege, who tries to do the most with the crumb of fucking influence that I have. But I always stress this importance to all of you. I always tell you, what do I always say? If it wasn't for this community, if you guys weren't in here right now, a terrorist, yes, exactly. I'm just a modest terrorist, okay? But if it wasn't for all of you that go out and knock on doors, if it wasn't for all of you that go out and unionize your workplace, if it wasn't for all of you that go out and organize in your communities, then I would just be one guy yelling into the fucking void regardless. I'd be yelling about this. I'd still be yelling, but I'd be yelling to a much smaller audience, the same exact shit that I'm yelling as I was many years prior to this level of unprecedented success that I saw in this field that I never thought I would actually see any success in. You showed this before, but a canvassing lead in your hoodie? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we got HasanAbi has his like canvassing leads in there. It's just like, that's the thing that I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of this.
Primary after months of door knocking. And in order to get all this stuff passed, like it's really important that we win with a mandate on November 4th. I was Lola's first field lead.
Yeah, she got the John Brown on deck.
And have gotten to watch her grow from being like a canvasser to becoming a lead, and have watched her get her GED and have been so proud of her.
Oh, this is my first time canvassing, so.
Awesome. Do you have a Zetro card?
I don't, thank you.
I grew up in rent-stabilized housing. A private equity firm bought up the community that I called home for 18 years.
I'm a psychiatrist. I want the city to be safe and affordable for me and for my patients.
My labor organizer grandfather was like, your shoes aren't on the pavement. What are you doing? Let's go.
Born in Jerusalem. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors. It's been super frustrating to watch people attack Zohran with a lot of Islamophobia, supposedly on my behalf. Election's coming up November 4th, so I owe it to him to come out here and canvass to help combat the mythology here.
The Upper East Side is often like classified as a place only for the wealthy. People thought this was like a Cuomo heavy stronghold. There's a lot of support up here, and this is what's going to make the difference.
I'm retired. I used to work as an investment manager. I've lived in the city for 45 years, so this is home to me, and I want to see changes.
At all. I don't think we would have met naturally at all.
Yeah.
Outside of the campaign. I don't live on the Upper East Side. I live in East Harlem, and I'm very much looking forward to having a Department of Community Safety.
To get to watch her go to college next year will be like an amazing thing.
Zohran's campaign is all around affordability and how we can have a city that's for everyone.
Harry Enton and Ben Shabibo on CNN tonight. Ew, Ben Shabibo. What the fuck? Yo, what the fuck is CNN doing, man? What the fuck is CNN doing, brother? What the heliante? Oh, God. All right, let's get back to this. God damn.
Every politician
yuck.
says New York is the greatest city
Gross.
in the world. But what good is that if no one can afford to live here?
And the ability to speak 5 languages, to woo minority voters, and heading out clubbing last weekend to reach the young. As New York City woke up this polling day, the prospect of Mayor Mamdani was upsetting old-school Democrats and Donald Trump.
I'd prefer not to have a communist mayor of New York City.
Last night, the president told Republicans to try to stop Mamdani by voting for another Democrat, his opponent Andrew Cuomo, running as an independent. But Mamdani cast his ballot in Queens this morning as the clear favourite. Earlier in the campaign, he travelled across the same borough to Hillside Avenue, where an interesting phenomenon is taking place. And how did you vote last year in the presidential election?
Yeah, I voted to Trump last year, you know.
And your family voted for Trump as well?
Yes, also.
Working class, minority voters shifted strikingly towards Donald Trump, like lifelong Democrat Major Hussein. And now,
Mamdani, you know.
A head-spinning shift from an ultra-conservative to a socialist.
Yeah.
How do you jump from Donald Trump to Zohran Mamdani?
The people who are vote for Donald Trump, it's nothing with the party line. It is a more of current world situation line.
A current situation in which New Yorkers are feeling.
Man, I'm in Oklahoma, gross, at a very conservative college, so thank you for giving me the space to spend my time. Even if I have to turn my volume down, for the record, places like Oklahoma, which, by the way, Bernie Sanders did win in the Democrat primary twice, are perfect places to start organizing in, okay? A lot of people, I think, unfairly cast aside these people that the Democratic Party has left behind because of the current style of polarization that exists in American politics. These are places that have the same exact struggles, if not have those struggles represented far worse than places like big cities. Okay? The idea that you cannot convince your neighbors, if you live in a red area, if you live in a red state, if you can't organize around the issues that are important to your neighbors is silly, okay? Because these are places that are fucking objectively forgotten by both parties, really. They just kind of rely on culture war to swing the votes, and they do successfully swing those votes with the culture war narratives and whatnot. But the antidote to that culture war posturing is a campaign that centers around affordability, the Zomentum, if you will, adjusted to the immediate needs of your neighbors, adjusted to the immediate needs of your local population. I do believe that the heartland and places like Oklahoma are perfect environments to organize, especially because the Democrats have kind of left them behind. So you don't necessarily have that same infrastructure, but that means you don't have that same friction as well. When affordability or material issues are never called into question, when they're never a prominent part of either campaign, whether it be the Democrats or the Republicans, then yes, of course, people just lean into their reactionary feelings, their fears, and end up voting alongside the culture war narratives. Democrats will always lose on the culture war. It's a much more comfortable narrative to just be like, yeah, everyone you don't know is terrifying, especially given how segmented and segregated the American population is, especially rural areas. Okay, people fear what they do not know. There's a reason why it doesn't work the same in urban environments, because you are literally slammed with diversity everywhere you go. So you kind of realize that, you know, a black person or a brown person is no different than you, right? That's the reason why big cities are oftentimes blue, because they're like, well, yeah, these guys are running on fucking racism, and I know what my neighbor is like. He's awesome, right? That's just how it is. Oh, fuck. I just realized I have another light that I can turn on in here.
Feeling the pain of economic insecurity.
Hold on.
Zohran Mamdani.
Mamdani?
Mamdani.
Why? Tell me why.
Because the city right now is a mess. And the food price is going up.
Zohran Mamdani's victory in the primary election stunned New York. He appeared to come out of nowhere and defeat the state's former governor, Andrew Cuomo. But Cuomo didn't go quietly. He came back and he is now taking on Mamdani as an independent in a...
Does it look better? It looks better, right? It looks much better now with the light on. Chair looks uncomfy, Law. It is. It is very uncomfortable. But I want it. This is the most Wes Anderson I've ever looked, I realize. Like my background. This is a very Wes Andersonian ass backdrop here that I got going on. He's purple for an amazing reason. Wait, what? Do I look purple? What the hell? The shirt is from the new merch drop, yes. Once again, ideology.shop, ladies and gentlemen. Ideology.shop for union-made, American-made. Wait, where the fuck is this? Oh, what about now? How about now? Am I orange for an amazing reason now? Much better? Or is it too warm? Oof. This is the best, I think. Ideology.shop. Well, I'm selling Kojima merch, yeah.
That embodies a struggle taking place inside the Democratic Party.
Supporters say Mamdani's radical policy offer of rent freezes, subsidised childcare and free bus fares are exactly what Democrats need to take on Trump. Critics ask, what about the price tag? And say socialism might appeal in New York, but not in critical swing states.
I think Mr. Mamdani is divisive.
No, I don't think it's divisive at all. I think.
Take this argument between Democrats on Manhattan's M86 bus over raising taxes to pay for it all.
People vote with their feet, and people are going to leave the city. The tax base is going to disappear.
The 1% pay a little bit more so that everybody.
By the way, all of this is bullshit. I can't stress this enough. No, the fuck they won't. Okay? They will not. The idea that the tax base is going to leave the city is utter nonsense. Okay? I cannot stress this enough. It is complete bullshit. Okay? Oh, everyone's going to leave the city. 1 million New Yorkers are going to leave the city. Suck my dick. No, the fuck they're not. And you want to know why they're not? Because it's New York City. It's already more expensive than all these other places, and people still fucking choose to live here, okay? The idea that, like, an additional increase in their costs for the super wealthy, even if, like, Albany was able to pull it off, even if Zohran was able to, like, convince Albany to engage in some sort of, like, wealth tax, that was going to be enough for people to fucking do a mass exodus out of New York. Bullshit. They already pay. They already pay more. They already pay more to live here. They already pay a higher percentage of taxes to live here. Shut the fuck up. Why don't they already live in Florida? If anything, this will unironically make New York better overall for even the wealthiest people, because now you can actually have the proper workers necessary to keep the city ticking. Okay? It will just improve everyone's lives. That's the other thing that people don't understand. Like, even for the wealthy people, it's like, man, the working class is a good thing for everyone. Okay? God damn. The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers, by the way. The reason why I keep getting the fucking gray, the gray bars over and over again is because I've been getting peppered with the gifts.
Paying more. They're ready to pay more. I'm not in that category. No, I wish I were.
So then why don't you want them to pay more so that all of us can have better health care, better lives?
Perhaps most divisive for these two Jewish voters has been Mamdani's ferocious criticism of Israel.
I'm a supporter of Israel, and I believe that Israel was fighting for their lives.
Are you scared of his election?
Yes, I'm very scared.
I think there's a lot of unfounded fears that are being stoked by people on the right, trying to make Jews feel that he's anti-Semitic, which is utterly ridiculous.
On the eve of the election, Trump threatened to withhold federal funds from New York if Mamdani is elected.
I will address that threat for what it is. It is a threat. It is not the law. And too often we treat everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth as if it is already legal just by virtue of who is saying it.
The anger here was not just directed at Trump, but Democrats too.
Are you disappointed that some senior members of the party are not endorsing Zohran Mamdani?
Yeah, I think that it is time for elected officials and politicians to grow a pair of balls and have some courage and stand up for something. We are tired of people who won't stand up to Donald Trump.
Do Donald Trump's threats make you angry?
If Mamdani wins tonight, the message from Democrats in New York is they want a new direction against Donald Trump's MAGA movement. But there is huge disagreement over whether this radical shift will work elsewhere in America.
Election Day 2025 is finally here. Polls are now open across the tri-state area, with people casting their ballots in key races. The city's highly watched mayoral race is one of the most anticipated races in the country, even garnering the attention of the president. We have a team of reporters working all angles. Christina Fan is in New Jersey with more on the race for governor, and Tim McNicholas is looking into some threats made at polling places in the Garden State. But we start with Elijah Westbrook and a look at the race for New York City mayor. Elijah.
That's right. Good afternoon to you, Cindy. Well, as you know, the polls have been open since 6 o'clock this morning, and I have to say there has been a pretty steady flow of voters showing up specifically at this polling location right here in Rego Park, Queens. The ones that we had the chance to talk to say that they are looking forward to change in City Hall. Of course, this as the candidate.
As a Jewish chatter, I can say those two Jews arguing on the bus is the most Jewish New Yorker thing ever. Yeah, I know. What's the thing? What's the trope? It's two Jews, three opinions. That's why it's also kind of funny where they're like, there's this notion of monolithic understanding amongst the two Jews. Like the idea that there is this like monolithic force amongst the American Jewish voter base is so funny. Another 100 gifted. God damn, 100 bones. Listen. As I always like to say, if Jews were a fucking monolith, okay, there wouldn't be need for an endless amount of propaganda, okay? If Jews were a monolithic force, for example, Jonathan Greenblatt wouldn't be spending all his fucking time yelling about me as opposed to like actual anti-Semites. The reason why he yells about me is because I'm the one who's convincing his nieces and nephews that Israel ain't shit. Or at least I'm one of those people. He knows Nick Fuentes can't do that. Can't wait to see the clip chimps taking all this out of context. Yeah, they can suck me today, okay?
Are making their final push. At this polling location here in Rego Park, Queens, voters filed in steadily throughout the morning.
You're an American, you live here, vote.
I think it's very important. I mean, your voice has a sway
I gotta bomb me.
The regulating of your state, of your boroughs.
Now over to the campaign trail, where Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani addressed voters at this polling site in Astoria, Queens, Tuesday morning. reiterating his vision for New York City.
It is time to finally respond with the urgency that New Yorkers deserve. An urgency that reckons with these same New Yorkers having had to face rent hike after rent hike, year after year.
Independent candidate Andrew Cuomo reminding voters why he believes this election is important.
The record turnout is a good sign. I think it's going to be a record, and it's because New Yorkers are concerned. New Yorkers are concerned about New York.
And Republican Curtis Sliwa appearing at a polling site on the Upper West Side.
I have the people's support, and hopefully by the time the ballots are counted tonight, when all is said and done, I'll be the next mayor of the city of New York.
This Queens resident says she will make her decision when she casts her ballot.
It's a hard decision to make who to vote for.
Yeah. Okay, so you're still a little
I'm still a bit undecided, but I'm going anyway, and I'll make up my mind.
All right, so you have voters like her who are still...
That's crazy. Bro, undecided until the very last moment. Amazing. Anyway, jokey board, Chermaya. God damn, Chermaya, thank you for the 100 bones. Not a real fan. Did not get halal tonight. No, I got banh mi tonight. I had halal yesterday.
Bit undecided now. The polls close tonight at 9. That as long as you're physically standing in line by that time, you are eligible to cast your ballot. We're live right now in Rego Park, Queens. Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
New Yorkers are making their voices heard in this election, taking a look across the 5 boroughs at voter turnout. This includes early voters and those who hit the polls today. Brooklyn leading the way with more than 306,000 votes. Manhattan coming
50 minutes until the next vote dump. Oh, you know what? I'll do the fucking viewer rewards. Or is it rewards? What is it? What are you supposed to do? The fucking, what's the thing? Where you unlock the token for gifted. I don't even know how to do it. The discount token. The 35% off discount token. But I don't know where it is. Oh, here, I got it. I will do it for the next 4 hours. Okay, there it is. 1 of 7 used. I think there has to be a hype train. No, I think now is it begins. I suspect. I don't know. I don't know how this shit works at all. Bro, why jinx about eating haram? If we lose, I'm going to blame you on your banh mi. Okay, calm down. Don't say that. Miss Taylor, thank you for the 100 gifted. God damn. Yeah, I'm eating my last non-halal food before Shakira law is in effect.
with more than 265,000, too far behind with more than 210,000 ballots cast. The Bronx showing up with over 79,000 voters, and Staten Island rounding it out with more than 64,000 votes so far. Polls are open tonight until 9 p.m.
President Trump endorsing Andrew Cuomo in the New York City mayor's race, just posting on social media this. He says, whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. Well, out front now, Zohran Mamdani, the candidate for New York City mayor. And so President Trump making it very clear here, there's no beating around the bush here. You really have no choice. You must vote for him, Andrew Cuomo. What do you say to that?
Look, this is something that we've been speaking about for months. We've known since the primary that Andrew Cuomo was funded by the same billionaires that gave us Donald Trump's second term. He denied that then. He had a phone call with President Trump trying to coordinate to stop our campaign. He then denied that. And even just until these final days, he denied that he was Donald Trump's preferred candidate. But now it's written out for the entire world to see. This is the man that Donald Trump wants to be the next mayor of New York City for New Yorkers, but because he'll be good for Donald Trump. And New Yorkers are exhausted of this agenda in Washington. They don't want to see a mimic of it come here to City Hall.
Do you think it will help?
I think the reason why Trump didn't do an early endorsement is because they wanted to draw out as many of the Democratic Party voters as possible to still entertain Andrew Cuomo, because there are still like a lot of boomers who fucking despise Donald Trump, but like think Andrew Cuomo is a real Democrat, all this shit. Right. And if Donald Trump had come out of the gate swinging like, oh, I'm in the tank for Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo's numbers would look much worse. Because remember, New York City, Zylax, thank you for the 100 gifted subs. New York City is a very woke city. It's a very anti-Trump city. We're talking 75% of the fucking voter base is like reliably Democrat. That's precisely the reason why Andrew Cuomo denied the rumors over and over again that the Trump train was going choo-choo for Cuomo, right? Yeah, people are apparently finding out about the endorsement as they're voting. I just talked to a volunteer for Zohran who told me that this morning 2 voters of the polling site were undecided, and she told them Cuomo had been endorsed by Donald Trump, and they said, well, that decides I'm voting for Zohran. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Cuomo at all in the polls, I guess specifically if you assume that Trump's trying to talk to that 15% of people who say they're going to vote for Curtis Sliwa.
You know, we continue to be confident about what tomorrow will look like for us, but I do think New Yorkers must understand that Andrew Cuomo waited until the final day before the election to have this be revealed. He wanted to be able to make the message to Democrats that he was in fact the governor that he said he was, and then right at the last moment, the last opportunity to fully embrace the MAGA movement that we have long said he is tied to.
So Trump also posted, so he endorses Cuomo, okay? Then he also talked about you, referring to you as a communist. I believe last time we talked, I don't know how many times I had of him calling you a communist. That's not new. But he said, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. Okay, what do you think that means? Other than very minimum as required, could be an important clause, I suppose, in that sentence. But if he says unlikely he's going to contribute federal funds, I mean, what happens then? What will you do if that's how he goes?
Well, I think you can clearly see that Donald Trump is threatened by our campaign. He's threatened by it because, like we've diagnosed the crisis in working class New Yorkers' lives, the cost of living. But unlike him, we're actually going to deliver on that. And that is a contrast that he can't bear to see. Because while he is spending $300 million remodeling a White House ballroom, the same amount of money that could provide SNAP benefits for 100,000 New Yorkers, he's trying to make it harder for Americans across the country to actually afford groceries. And this money that we're talking about, it's money that New York City is owed. It's not Donald Trump's to decide which city or state will get what money. This is the money that New Yorkers are owed, and this is the money that we're going to fight for.
Okay, so Trump is not the only one talking about you tonight. Elon Musk is actually talking about you.
What a pair.
And obviously Musk had supported him, was crucial to his election victory. They had their falling out, but they're back together again. Elon posts about you. Remember to vote tomorrow in New York. Bear in mind that a vote for Curtis, referring to Curtis Sliwa, whom I just mentioned, is really a vote for Mamdani, or whatever his name is. Vote Cuomo. All right. Why do you think he's speaking out against you? And obviously the personal insult is in there as well, Mamdani.
Look, I think this is one of the more expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten because it took $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk for Elon Musk's pet projects back when Cuomo was the governor. And we're seeing the two twin architects of this second term of Donald Trump's presidency in the president himself and Elon Musk saying clearly to New Yorkers that their candidate is Andrew Cuomo. And they've picked Andrew Cuomo because they know right here in New York City. And he's showing himself to not just be that, but also to be their parrot in the language that he's using to close out this election.
Okay.
Yep. It's if he's simply a servant of capital and a social fascist and someone who's going to concede to the right-wing forces in this country, why is it that every fucking right-wing force in this country is unified loudly against him? Okay? This doesn't mean that his tenure will reflect the radical values that he's had, radical values that he has presented during his campaign. I'm not saying that at all. And if he doesn't actually fucking follow through on his promises, we'll be there. We'll be there to push him, okay? But you have to understand there's a reason why right-wingers are always on the fucking ball and liberals and leftists are delusional, okay? They obviously see this as a danger. They see it as a danger, and they're trying to do everything they can to stop it. It's because the establishment is unified. The establishment is unified. They are united in their hatred of him. And I hope he welcomes their hatred, okay?
Talk about billionaires, and there have been some really wealthy individuals who have come out and put money in PACs against you in recent days, right? Former Mayor Michael Bloomberg among them. There are plenty of other business leaders who, in private, are afraid. They have concern. There are very few who actually will talk about it publicly, but one of them is Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, and I'm thinking about this in light of Trump calling you a communist. Jamie Dimon did not call you a communist.
Is Trump actually capable of withholding funds from New York? Surely it's not his call, right? No, he's not. He'll try. I suspect he'll try, but no. Do you think, however, you have a better option with a pliant Andrew Cuomo who will literally have his freedom dictated by the administration in a scheme not dissimilar to Eric Adams, who will actively fight back for New Yorkers? Or do you think it'll be Zohran Mamdani? It's that simple. 50K viewers, less than 10K are in the USA? Yeah, totally, dude. 40,000 viewers from all around the world are tuning in. Only 10,000 viewers are actually watching from America. It's only, I mean, I do have a larger international audience than usual today, but no, the overwhelming majority is American. Don't be fucking ridiculous. Kyrgyzstan, here for Zohran. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Kyrgyzstan, rise up. Kyrgyz. We will unite. I will unite the Pan-Turanist movement from the East Asian steppes all the way to the Islamic Caliphate's capital, New York City.
He was more intellectual about it. He said, what does he really think? You know, he was part of that socialist democratic thing, which literally is more Marxist than socialist. And I read it, but I don't know what he believes in that. All right, so I guess he's basically saying he's not really sure where you stand on things. But what do you say to that concern? Is Marxist something you're comfortable with?
No, I'm a democratic socialist, and I've said it time and again. When was that quote from Jamie Dimon?
From Jamie Dimon. It was from Fortune last week.
Okay.
A Fortune conference.
I mean, it's the same shit, dude. But obviously he's not. He's trying to push for a more appropriate terminology. We all know what that means, for the record. Don't say boo. We all know we know what that fucking means, okay? There's no reason to confuse the electorate at the fucking last second. Okay? We've not Marxist kind of disappointed. Shut up! That's not real. Sandwich number 2, thank you for representing us, real eaters. Yes, I got 2 different banh mi's. I got and I got a regular banh mi just to test it out, and I'm eating half and half. Can he differentiate Marxism with Marxism-Leninism, or is that too complex for normies? Come on, guys. Come on, please. Stop. Zohran will be awful for America. He's going to turn New York into New Medina. Yeah. It's going to be the new Medina for socialism.
Last week.
Because what he's also come out and said in public is that in our success, this is something that business leaders would also hope for the success of the city. And I put that forward to say that despite where New Yorkers may stand on my candidacy, whatever qualms they may have, they know that I'm actually being honest with them about my ideas, about who I'm looking to fight for. And that's sadly unique in this race. Because what you have is someone in Andrew Cuomo who spent the entirety of a primary campaign on the premise that he was the best suited to take on Donald Trump. And here we are with the chyron that Donald Trump is endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
So let me ask you, because that was October 17th, so it was actually a week and a half ago. But I want to ask you, because you asked me when he said that. Are you talking to him? Are people like that people that you're going to sit down with and eagerly work with, or not?
Look, I'll have conversations with anyone. And I've spoken to Jamie Dimon briefly, and I've spoken to a number of other business leaders across the city about my proposals. I know that there are disagreements around my fiscal policy, that I think we should raise income taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year by 2%, or the fact that I think corporations' top tax rate should be matching what they pay in New Jersey. And still, there is room for an immense amount of agreement on what it means to bring the city forward, and I'll always leave that door open.
So, okay. So let me just ask you about President Obama. I know that you had a conversation with him. What was that conversation about? Your most recent one?
I appreciated the conversation with President Obama, and we spoke about both
the New York Post headline is that he's not endorsing you.
Yeah, well, the New York Post has a lot of fun with their headlines, to put it lightly. It was a conversation where we were speaking about the importance of hope in politics, the delivery of that kind of an agenda, and I also shared with him that the remarks that I had shared outside of a mosque in the Bronx not too long ago was inspired in part by his remarks on race of a more perfect union many years ago. And I think there is often a tendency in our politics to think solely in a 24-hour news cycle, and the need to sometimes step back and speak to the soul of a city and not just the cycle of that city.
Do you think that he, and he's never endorsed a mayoral candidate, so that's why I'm making the point, of course, he wasn't going to endorse, but...
Chatters, take it in stride, baby. Whether we appreciate it or not, Barack Obama is still probably one of the most popular existing alive politicians in the United States of America. Okay? If anything, you should be mad that he didn't fucking endorse Zohran Mamdani loudly and proudly. Fox News about to use your joke? The new look of Mamdani City, New York. Mamdani City, previously New York City. Kiss of death? No, fuck no. Barack Obama endorsing Zohran Mamdani would not be a kiss of death. That's Hillary Clinton you're thinking of. I think a lot of people forget like how much motion Obama still has. Billionaire for Mamdani alert. Alex Soros tells me I was proud to support and vote for the Democratic candidate for mayor. That's more of a kiss of death than Obama. Okay. Regardless of the outcome of this vote, it gives me a lot of hope to just see how far Mamdani has come. The same goes for Zach Polanski. Yeah.
Do you feel that he has your back? That because there are plenty in the Democratic Party who are scared of you too, and they don't know whether you're going to succeed or if they're going to sit back and watch. Do you think he's someone who's going to be in there, you know, in it with you?
Well, I appreciate the president offering to be a sounding board, and that's exactly what we see as what the future of these next few weeks and months look like. It looks like speaking to those who've been in these very kinds of positions and putting together a team that reflects the best and the brightest that this city and this country has to offer, and then delivering on this agenda. And that's what actually terrifies Donald Trump and Elon Musk and even Andrew Cuomo the most. It's their fear that we will, in fact, accomplish the things that we have campaigned on. And that's one place where they're actually right.
All right, Zohran Mamdani, thank you very much. Obviously, we're hours away.
To give you guys like to give you guys a sense of delusion that you hear from liberals in general, but it speaks to like Obama's resilient popularity, is that liberals will literally entertain a third Trump term just because they think that like Barack Obama will run again. Okay? Like it's the most insane thing I've ever heard. It is genuinely devastating because like a third Trump term means like permanent Trump monarchy, right? Like I don't think that they recognize that. And also Barack Obama obviously is most likely not even invested in like doing it all over again. Having said that, like that's how much liberals fucking ride for Obama. They ride for Obama so much that they wanted Michelle to run. Okay? So that is part of the reason why I do think that Obama has a tremendous amount of influence still over the Democratic Party, and he does not wield it in a positive direction. I would go so far as to say that his pod johns are much more in tune with the way that the base is moving than the way that Barack Obama himself is actually moving. And obviously you guys know this. I'm doing Crooked Con. I'm going to Washington, D.C. after this. That's part of the reason why I came here was because of because I was already going to be on the East Coast regardless. So, you know, there is I think Barack Obama should be doing a lot more right now. If he actually does care about fucking defending democracy. Oh yeah, this was funny. This leaking 48 hours after the Hillary non-endorsement shows that the actual Democratic primary you'll never escape is 2008 and not 2016. Barack Obama called Zohran Mamdani today, praising the campaign he's run and offering to be a sounding board in the future. Your campaign has been impressive to watch, Obama told him. Okay. Hillary Clinton also refused to endorse Zohran Mamdani and then even turned around and said that maybe it's terrifying for the Jews if Zohran wins. Even my conservative dad misses Obama because of how old and unintelligible our presidents have been since 2016. He was our last smart president. Yeah. There are a lot of people who are just like utterly oblivious to what the president does and what their policies look like, or what the outcome of said policies look like. They just don't give a shit about anything. They just like care about the aesthetics. Okay. And for those people, oh my God, Barack Obama is the GOAT for them. Okay. It's significant that Obama is completely ignoring the accusations of anti-Semitism, Islamic extremism, along with the socialist tag, and appears more eager to embrace Mamdani than the Schumer types. He's just the better room reader, I think.
Yes. Hours away here. Are you ready? Do you expect it's going to be a big night for you?
I'm hopeful. I'm confident, but I'll never be complacent. But look, if people want to vote for Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they should vote for Andrew Cuomo. If people want to vote for change, they should vote for me.
All right, Zohran Mamdani, thank you very much. I appreciate it.